Hi, Garrison.
Hi, Mindy.
I'm so excited to welcome you to the Gamut Network. You have been so incredibly important to us, really from the beginning of our journey through Runway Dreams and now Gamut Management. So I'm thrilled to have you on our show. But I have the great opportunity of knowing you, but I would love you to share a little bit about yourself and your story with our audience so they can get to know how amazing you are.
Okay, no problem. Well, my name is Garrison Redd, and I'm from Brooklyn, New York. And at 17 years old, I was outside on an ordinary summer night, and I was shot in my back, which left me paralyzed from the waist down. However, my parents are so incredible. So while I was in a hospital going through recovery, my mother always kept reassuring me that I'm going to be something special in this world. And I never knew what she meant by it. She could never tell me what I was going to become, or she just always just reassured me each and every day that if something bad can happen, something great can happen. Because at the time I was 17 years old, going into my last year of high school, and it just was so many opportunities I was looking forward to because I played football and I was a standout athlete in football. So with that injury happening to me, it was like, where do I go now? You know, when you're 17 years old, you're a teenager, and you have a whole lot of other things just going on in your mind. And for this catastrophic injury to happen, it just really crushed me for quite a period of time. But once again, my parents never let me get depressed. So it's funny because when I started with the Runway of Dreams, my mother always told me, you got to dress how you feel. And when Oliver came home that day, when you tell your story,
yes,
it's resonated with me because it was like the same thing my mother and I went through as well. So I went to college. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in finance. And I think the college experience really helped me find myself and just become myself and become comfortable with being in public using a wheelchair, because that was at first one of my insecurities, how I would be able to adjust to society, being in a wheelchair after walking my whole life. And the first day of college was just like an incredible experience because people was coming up to me saying hi and was very welcoming. So with that said, I worked for the IRS for 6 years. It was a cool time of my life, but one day I had an epiphany. I'm like, I'm way too cool for this. This is not something I want to do.
I was going to say, generally the IRS and cool don't necessarily go together.
Yeah.
But you made it cool.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, it was like, I felt I was missing out on what I was actually here to become or actually here to do. And I think that was to just motivate and inspire other individuals that went through a catastrophic injury or was born with a disability. And I just try to encourage them that life isn't over. So it was like a part of my life was like, I had to become comfortable with being uncomfortable with myself.
I love that phrase. I've heard you say that before, and I think that really resonates with anyone, right? Because whether you have a disability or not, being uncomfortable is uncomfortable. So to be able to be in that space, no matter where you are in life, is really something we should all strive to get to.
Yeah.
I want to go back to one period in your life, because I think this would really help with some of our viewers, because I do get a lot of emails in regard to people that have disabilities, whether they are newly disabled or born with their disability, and are struggling with loneliness or struggling with, finding a community or finding themselves. And I have personally experienced this with Oliver, my son, as well. So when your life catastrophically changed, what are maybe some best practices you can share of how, obviously your mother's spectacular, and really was an amazing support system for you, but what were there other things that you yourself personally had to work on to get to the place that you are today?
Well, I had to get comfortable with socializing with other people and answering questions about my disability. See, often people are just curious to know, pass judgment, or think that I was incapable of doing certain things. I would just open up and tell them. So if they had a question to ask, like, how do you date and you're in a wheelchair, I just explained it to them, you know, because I felt that if I explain things like this to other individuals, it'll make the world more inclusive, because now people are starting to understand what it's like to be disabled. They would never know fully unless they are disabled, but if you're able to share your experiences with other individuals, it really opens up the door for you and for other individuals that are disabled. So I took it upon myself just to share my experiences.
I love that. And so with that, would you encourage people to ask you the questions? I know that, you know, what I'm trying to guide Oliver, and certainly anybody that reaches out to me, is most of the time it's just curiosity. And when you dispel that curiosity of, you know, in his world, why he walks different or can't run or whatever the case may be. And for you, the wheelchair, were you born like that? Were you not born like that? Explaining the story, I think, can really dispel that curiosity. Did you experience that? And do you encourage people to ask the questions?
Yeah, like me, I definitely encourage anybody to ask any questions, especially me. I'm comfortable with talking about my disability. I know some individuals that are disabled aren't so confident and comfortable with talking about their disability. However, I try to do as much like explaining about it as possible. That way, if anybody comes encounter of another individual that suffered a spinal cord injury, I'll be very welcome to tell them, well, they'll have the knowledge of knowing what a spinal cord injury individual goes through.
Absolutely. And I love that. And as we go on with the interview, I'm definitely going to encourage our viewers, if it's okay with you, to reach out to you.
Definitely.
If they have questions or want to connect or want to, you know, it's wonderful to have somebody that really understands what you are going through when, you know, there aren't a lot of people necessarily that can share your story. And I think that's a great opportunity to be able to give our viewers. So the other thing that I would love to share with the audience is how many things you do. I mean, every time I talk to you, you're in a weightlifting competition or you're dancing or you're speaking. Tell us a little bit about what the day-to-day is like in Garrison's world.
Well, in Garrison's world, the day-to-day can change each and every day. I'm a Team USA Para-Powerlifter. I'm also a dancer. I'm a disabled rights advocate. I've done a TED Talk where I spoke about individuals with disabilities, their capabilities, and how we are assets. It's called Life is Like Lemonade.
Oh, I love that. Life is Like Lemonade.
Yep.
On TED.com?
Well, yeah, or you could just look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
Type in my name, Garrison Redd. It comes right up.
Okay. And everybody listening, that's GARRISON.
REDD.
Okay, perfect.
And also I'm a model, of course.
Yes.
And yes,
one of our models for many opportunities. And you know, one of the things that I just recently interviewed Chris Rudin, and we were talking about, you know, go back to your 17-year-old version of yourself, and let's talk about how the world was different then than it is now. Do you feel that there's more opportunity for people with disabilities? Do you feel that it's become a little bit more of our mainstream? I cited, for example, one of my most favorite share right now on social media, which is one of our models, Colton, who was in an ad for Target.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe you've met Colton in the journey. And to see that little boy Oliver, not my Oliver, a different Oliver, look up at somebody that looks like him. Did you ever feel that you had that, anything like that when you were 17? Do you think the world has shifted in that way?
Yeah, the world definitely has shifted. It's funny because, rest in peace, Caxme. We was actually in rehabilitation together when she was.
Oh, I know that. I know that because I know your PT. Actually.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So we was in rehabilitation together, and like we left. There wasn't many opportunities, and it was not that long ago. It was 14 years ago, and the world has changed drastically because disabled individuals now are like more accepted in mainstream. Like I see the inclusion process is definitely growing. As far as when I first left the hospital, there was nowhere I could turn to find another individual with a disability, or especially another individual with a spinal cord injury that was out and about and very active in society, like acting or doing speaking engagements. So I think social media involved, it gave a platform for individuals with disability to showcase their talents. I remember actually when I was in the hospital, Victor Calisi, who's the commissioner of the mayor's office.
Love him.
And he used to like try to get me to play baseball with his wheelchair baseball team. And at that,
he was trying to recruit you.
Yeah, there was no star wheelchair basketball players or anything, because you didn't see any athletes that was disabled in commercials and things of that nature. And now, like to this day and age, I have a good friend, Steve Serio, who's in Toyota commercials, and I'm like, it's evolving, and you can see that evolution going on as we talking. Like each and every day, it's another individual that's disabled doing incredible things. Even to the Tony Award winner, I can't think of her name right now.
Yeah, it's so wonderful and exciting, and I think that Ali Stoker.
Ali Stoker, that's her name.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But I love that we're moving towards that opportunity. That look, I hope someday that we get to a place that it isn't a novelty. It is not so that somebody in a wheelchair won a Tony. It's just this beautiful, wonderful, talented woman won a Tony.
And I definitely agree with you on that. So I do see the world is evolving. Also, it's important to have a strong support system. You got to have great friends around you.
Agreed.
That's one of the things that I'm fortunate to have. I have a set of friends that always motivated me to follow my dreams and follow my passion. So anytime I came up with an idea on something I wanted to do, they'll say, go for it, because the only time you fail is if you don't try.
I could not agree more. And then look, the reality is that's not always so easy, right? I'm sure there definitely have been times in your life. I know there's definitely times in my life, and I like to call it my 24-hour window cave that I go in, that I allow myself to have a pity party. And then I'm like, why us? Why Oliver? Why blah, blah, blah. And then I give myself 24 hours, and then I'm up and I'm out and I'm moving on. Exactly. Because you have to. And I think, what you're doing and what you're showing somebody else out there of everything that you have accomplished. When your life changed like that, right? You were on a very different path.
Yep.
Prior to the accident. Right? And look at you now. Look at what you've accomplished, and look what you are doing for the population, to show that you're just a regular cool guy that was way too cool for the IRS. Yeah. And now you're doing amazing things. And one of the things that I wanted to be able to show our viewers is apparently you are fairly new to TikTok, and that you have really honed in on some of the TikTok dancers. It is something that is like a guilty pleasure of mine. I beg my kids to let me do it with them, and apparently I'm not that good. So I would love to have any tips from you. Maybe you could show our viewers what your favorite TikTok dance is right now.
Okay, yeah, well, I did a duet with a young lady a time ago, so.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, you could do duets, or you can, include someone in your TikTok videos and stuff like that.
Okay.
I could send it to you, but I also have it on Instagram. So let me see.
Amazing. But could you maybe do some of the moves?
Oh yeah,
for us, and then we'll guide the listeners to go onto your Instagram to see the video.
All right. So depending on the song, you gotta do your little. I like doing
this one where you go.
Yeah, or you could blow a kiss. The song.
Yeah.
Like some turns and stuff. Do a little willieing.
What's it called? Willieing?
Yeah, I could do
Okay. I love it. Good. And what do you love? What does dancing do for you?
Oh, dancing is a great stress reliever. like I can have a bad day or not such a great day. I really don't have bad days, but I have days that aren't as good as others. So if I having a down day, I just do a TikTok video and just do a dance and bust out a dance move. And it could be as silly as I may think it is, but for someone, it's going to bring a smile to their face.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, you truly bring a smile to anybody that is ever in contact with you. You are a true joy, and I feel incredibly lucky to have met you.
Yep.
Just to, again, go back to how our viewers could get in touch with you if they wanted to learn more about powerlifting or about dancing or just about you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, my Instagram is at Garrison Redd, my full name. Pretty much everything on all my social media accounts is Garrison Redd. I just keep it simple, so it's very easy for anyone to find me.
Perfect.
Facebook Garrison Redd, or you could just Google search me, Garrison Redd, and I come right up.
Amazing. And that's REDD, everyone. And if anybody has any questions on how to get in touch with Garrison, they can certainly go through Gamut Management. He is incredibly talented and everything that you could imagine. And we are very, very proud to have him a part of the Gamut. Garrison, wait, sorry, one more question. I forgot what I end each interview with. Here, I like to show that I have a vision board of everything that I believe is going to happen in my journey. What is the biggest, most exciting thing that you have on your vision board, if you had a vision board?
I want to win a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes.
That's my ultimate goal, is to win a Nobel Peace Prize. So
then you're doing it. And then here we are. We recorded it now. It's in perpetuity.
Oh yeah, we got to manifest these things.
Yes, I love it. I'll be right there cheering you on when you get it.
You're definitely invited.
Thank you. I will look the part, I promise.
I know.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, Mindy. Thanks for having me.
Bye. Please email us at talent@gamutmanagement.com and tell us a little bit about why you would be a great guest on our show.